Welcome to Q Studios. Today, we have a very different show because today we will be talking about the life of Charlie Kirk. You know, when I was growing up, it was Rush Limbaugh. He was the conservative mouthpiece to the point that he got Trump elected in 2016. It was the biggest upset ever, 100%. I called it too. But it was Rush Limbaugh who got him past the finish line in 2016. He's no longer with us. And now the guy most responsible for getting Trump past the finish line in 2024, Charlie Kirk, is gone as well. He was this generation's Rush Limbaugh. And he's irreplaceable. And we're going to talk about a lot of things. But before I go into what I say, I want to make this clear. My views on this issue do not represent my co-host, Dom or Fresh, in any way whatsoever. I'm talking now. And I'm going to tell you what I think about what happened. Before I go in, I like to have a moment of silence for an American patriot. You know, when a guy like that goes, we all feel something because we've actually seen this guy grow up. I remember seeing this guy for the first time about a little bit more than a decade ago. And when I saw him, I saw like, damn, dude had some charisma. Dude had something about him. Dude was definitely very good at arguing. He knew how to argue. He was one of the best out there. And he had an ability that very few human beings have. I'm not just talking about politics. I'm talking about everywhere in life. There's few people who can get you to want to change your outlook on life. Now, obviously, everyone has a YouTube channel, some bigger than others. And you can say, yo, I got this guy, Johnny, down the street to do this. Or I got Sue next door to start doing this. Charlie literally got millions of young kids to vote conservative. That is a lot more difficult than anything you clowns out there are going to fucking say, yo, I did this, I did. No. Charlie was special. The same way Michael Jordan and LeBron James are special, and they transcend the game so much. People want to be like them and get in the game. People wanted to be like Charlie. People grew up with his values. And he was a Christian man. You know, nothing I can really say too much about that, but I can agree with his family values. I mean, I don't remember anything about him cheating on his wife. We had any stories about that? No, I don't recall. I don't recall any sex scandals. I don't recall any of that stuff. All I recall is Charlie Kirk having 2 kids, a wife. I didn't hear anything about her whoring around. None of that stuff. He lived a good life. He lived a respectable life. You only have to be a Christian to appreciate that. He lived the life that most of you, whether you know it or not, should actually want. And then he was taken. We'll get into those reasons in a second. And yes, it's unfortunate that his life was taken, but you know what's even worse? Yeah, the American mouthpiece is gone. Someone on the right, someone who's a conservative, someone who can galvanize people is gone. And as much as that means to some people out there who idolize this man, some people out there who were inspired by this man, nothing is going to come to the point where it hurts people like his kids. He has 2 kids. No matter what happens now, their lives are destroyed. No matter what they accomplish in life or don't, their lives are destroyed. Because someone decided we need to take him out. Now 2 kids don't have a father. And that is the most tragic thing about this. And even though I met Charlie a couple of times, didn't talk too much, big star. I'm 100% sure he would agree with me right now. 1,000% sure. Because I saw the look in his eyes when he talked about his kids. Women lie. Men lie. Numbers don't lie. But you know what else doesn't lie? Them eyes. You can see when someone's bullshitting about his family. You're in dinner with them. You talking to these people. Oh, how the kids? It's just like a natural reaction. They don't give a fuck. They're just, doing pleasantry bullshit. But when someone's really interested in it, when they talk about kids, I'll give you guys a little secret. When someone is a real family man and you talk about kids, they'll smile. They'll smile. Little game out there for you. Now you can test these hoes out there. On to a serious note. Yesterday, I didn't want to speculate, but I did get on the phone with a lot of people. A lot of people that aren't on Twitter, or at least they don't have a big account. They might have an anon account. People who are actually in those circles with them boys and with the people who are against them boys. And I talked to everyone out there. And I heard some things. Some heard things that, quite frankly, you people on Twitter are out your freaking minds. Absolute insanity, what is going on. So, Bill, can we please go to the video I made in this morning when I said breaking news? Because I actually told you guys the truth of what happened. But again, everyone's calling me crazy. Just like they called me crazy it's pinned. It's pinned. Everyone called me crazy when I said numerology and astrology would start being accepted in the red pill community. Remember I said that in 2023? Oh, whoops. That motherfucker did it again, huh? Now listen to the truth. Because if you guys believe that Mossad took this guy out, their number one ally, their number one backed influencer in America, I'm going to break that argument right here. Let's play the video.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and a lot of people are throwing shit on the wall trying to see what sticks. But let me break this down to you. The American leftists are too disorganized. They couldn't pull this off. There's literally only a few organizations in the world who can pull this off on American soil. So let me explain what happened. 24 to 48 hours before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, Israel bombed Doha, Qatar,
Stop it right there.
And 5 to 6 other nations.
Israel bombed Qatar, Doha. Now let me explain the ramifications of this. The Americans don't have a base in most of their enemy states in Yemen. The Americans don't have a base in Syria, at least in most locations. The Americans aren't operating out of there, but they are operating out of Qatar. You know who else is operating out of Qatar? The CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. So here's what I want to tell you. Israel, 48 hours before Charlie was assassinated, they bombed 6 different places. Gaza, Syria, the usual suspects, Lebanon, Yemen. But see, those are all shitholes. All those countries are literal shitholes. Doha has got money. Doha has a lot of money. So when you bomb them, you're going to have real consequences because they have the ability to hit you back. Yemen does not have that ability. Syria does not have that ability. Qatar does. Understand the difference. Israel bombed them. All of a sudden, this happens the next day. And you morons out there think the Mossad took down their own people. We're going to talk about who benefits from this very quickly. Play the rest of the video.
At that point, the other side got fed up and they decided to send a message, and they used the Chinese Communist Party to execute that message. Charlie Kirk was killed by the CCP based on arrangements with other third parties to send a message to Donald Trump and Israel. You can be touched too.
Right,
that's what happened.
Right there. What happened is very simple. Charlie Kirk is connected to the Trump administration. They wanted to send a message to Donald Trump, and they sent it. How do you know this? If the government usually does an operation where the CIA or the FBI is involved in some false flag, they have a patsy ready. You understand? The patsy's got to be ready. There's no patsy here. They would have put the patsy out already. Instead, the FBI director is putting $100K bounty. $100K. Bro, you got what the fuck's going on? You can't even do a milli? $100K? Maybe I should do a fucking bounty. I could do more than $100K. This is a joke. This guy was responsible for the president of the United States taking that office as the 47th president. They took him out to send a message because Israel bombed Doha, and that was off limits. Remember who gave Trump a new plane? Qatar. Remember who has a base? The Chinese and the Americans. So the other side sent a message, we can hit you back. That's what happened. Go to the next video of Charlie Kirk, because some people are starting to say this is proof that Charlie was about to flip. Yeah, there you go. Play this video.
Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policy, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews.
Right there. He said this is a beast created by secular Jews. Do you understand the Likud party is extremely conservative? They would say the same thing as Charlie right here. They would say the same exact thing. You think the conservatives over there, like the Tel Aviv, is one of the most homosexual places in the world? 25% LGBT? Because of secular Jews. This does not make him a target. And if you say it does, you're a moron. This is the same exact rhetoric as Netanyahu. So do not tell me Mossad killed their best assets. That is asinine. If he said one bad thing about Israel, he said 1,000 bad things about Islam. Are you kidding me? You think this guy was about to turn? Keep it real. Stop spreading bogus stuff. The Mossad is responsible for a lot of shit in the world. But do not give them credit where they don't deserve it. This was not a Mossad operation. If it was, they'd have a patsy ready. We've been through this before. We know how the history works. Finish the tape.
And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
So, I mean, the NGO problem is a worldwide problem. This is where guys like Soros come in. All right? People need to really understand not everything in the world is black and white. Because you guys are starting to act like women. See, when a woman hates you, she's going to hate everything about you. How you walk, how you talk, how you dress. But a man, he's supposed to be able to have the ability to hate something and still respect it. If you don't, and you think I'm crazy, maybe you're just not a fucking man. Maybe you're a bitch who was raised by a bitch. Let's go to Ian Carroll over here. Ian Carroll, let's see. He made a tweet. He tried to racial Charlie Kirk a couple days ago. Jesus defeated death so you can live. That was Charlie Kirk's tweet. And then, Ian Carroll's like, yeah, you dedicated your life to the people who killed him. All right? So he's basically saying he's an Israeli asset. He's a Zionist asset. This is a couple days ago. Now go down and let's see what Ian Carroll said before this. Yeah, click on that tweet. Yesterday was a turning point for Israel-American relations. He basically said the same guy he accused of being their bitch, now, a couple days later, he said he was about to switch. And that's why they took him out. Which one is it, clown? Is he their agent or is he switching? They don't give a fuck what the truth is because they're blind with rage right now. They're blinded with rage. They're like a woman. They hate everything. And whatever the problem is, you're the problem. I've said this before. I'll say this again. Zionism has caused a lot of issues. But if you think they're taking out their own people and you believe this nonsense, you were out of your fucking mind. Stop giving them more credit than they deserve. This is not how these type of operations work. Now let's talk about who this benefits. Because that's an interesting topic. Usually, when you can tie into who this benefits, you can start looking at motive. Who gains the most from Charlie Kirk? Absence. Number one, the liberals. He was very effective at what he did. But the liberals, they don't have this type of precision, this type of professionalism. They'll just go in the crowd and shoot. These aren't very bright people. This was a trained hit. This was not your everyday liberal. Stop causing nonsense to spread. Who benefits? Who in America benefits the most? Who in America is going to take most of Kirk's audience? One person. The same guy who is suppressed but has turned into a superstar since 2023. The same guy who has about 40 mil in crypto in his accounts. That guy right now, with about 200,000 viewers, is the one who benefits the most. Whether he had anything to do with this or not is irrelevant. Watch how this plays out. And then you'll know Gary was right again.